Hey everybody, Darin Kid here. Hope you're having an awesome day as you join. Please let me know where you're watching from. We're broadcasting on multiple channels. So if you're on my YouTube channel, great to see you. Let us know what country you're watching from. Also, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can get the future updates when I go live. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Periscope, we're hitting all the platforms today because we got some special announcement, a big announcement at the very end of this. So again, let me know where you're watching from, and we're going to go ahead and get started. And also, if you have some people that you feel should hear this information, because today I'm going to be very transparent. I may share some of my story with you that you've never heard before. And so I always want to, my goal is not just to pump you up, to motivate you, but to give you something that can help you go out there and get results and get to where you want to be sooner than later. So I see we got Stacy. Hey, Elaine. Hey, Michelle. Hey, neighbor, right? Hey, Laura, thanks for joining. And we're going to get straight into the content today because I want to make sure that I'm able to give you this big announcement at the end of this live that can help you do exactly what the title says. What if I could show you a way to speed up your business 1 to 2 years in about a 48 to 72 hour window? Well, I'm going to share with you what happened to me. Smash that heart button if that sounds good to you. And so let me share with you a little bit more about my story, okay? And because some of you don't know all of my story, and I think it's going to motivate you. And then I'm going to give you some things that some of them took me about 7 years to learn. And then some of them took me over 20 years to learn. And so my goal is to help you learn those things without you having to go through the 28 years like I did when I was a distributor. And so here's what happened. I only went to college a year and a half, but a lot of you know that I'm a college dropout. But I only weighed 142 pounds when I graduated high school. And so there was this big strength coach at the college. And I remember going to him and going, hey, listen, tell me how to put on some weight. Tell me how to get stronger. And he's like, I'm glad you asked. And he sat me down. And that was one of my first exposures to the great network marketing, profession, the direct sales profession. And I fell in love with it because I'm like, you know what? I don't want to work a job until I die. I do want a better life for my family. But yet, we grew up, we were always struggling with money. Every conversation at every meal, I remember my parents talking about how they're going to pay this and how they're going to pay that. And I just wasn't passionate about college. I wasn't passionate about learning at that point. And so then from that point on, okay, I went from company to company to company. I don't know if anybody can relate, but for 7 years, I failed, and I failed over and over and over again until I got to the point I said, I'm done. And I remember I was a part of the NFL, the No Friends Left Club, because people are like, oh, what is Darin into now? But I had no guidance. I had no coaching. I had no mentors. We didn't have the internet. So I wanted it really bad, but I didn't know what to do. But I got to the point going, I will never, ever do another home-based business. And I remember specifically a situation where a guy approached me in Toys R Us, my wife and I, and he's like, don't I know you? And I'm like, are you in this company? And I mentioned the name of that company. And he's like, yeah, are you? And I'm like, no, but you all use the same stupid pickup line, right? The same prospecting line. You don't know me. And when he walked away, true story, I told my wife, I go, the next person that approaches me about any type of network marketing company, any direct sales company, I'm going to lay hands on them, even if it's at church. And I'm just going to tell people I was praying for them. I was laying hands on them, right? Now, wasn't going to do that, but that's how frustrated I was at that point. Hey, Gary. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Lisa, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Hey, Taylor, welcome. And Monet from Germany. We got people from all over the world watching this. And I'm glad because I'm going to help you change your world with this one broadcast. I'm going to give you the tools and tell you what to do. Then it'll be up to you to do it. But the great news, it's something that every single one of you can do. So at the very end, I'll give you that big announcement. And then some things changed. I started looking for jobs, and I remember I worked at a paint warehouse. And I remember going, you know what? I'm going to work so hard that the owner will love me so much because I'm sacrificing so much that one day I'll be able to maybe, have stock in the company, or, maybe I'll be a big executive in the company. That's not what happened. I volunteered for weekends. I traveled with them. What happened was they sold the company for millions. We all got laid off. And then I went out there and started playing the resume game again, which at that point, what did I have to offer? See, I didn't know what I didn't know at that point, like how to make money, how to create a following. We didn't have social media. But finally, I'm like, you know what? I can't find a job. I'm going to go back and I'm going to work this one company. I don't care if it takes me a decade. I just don't want to have a job. That was me. And so I worked that company for about, oh, by the way, at that point, I ended up bankrupt. Okay, for those in other countries, government assistance. Like I lost pretty much almost everything. They repossessed my car. We were on government assistance. I couldn't feed my family. And you know what? People that say that money's not that important to them, if they'll lie about that, they'll lie about a bunch of other stuff too. Wouldn't you agree? Right? I mean, money's not everything, but I think it was it Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar that said, I think it was Zig Ziglar. Hey, Cindy, said that it ranks up there next to oxygen because it affects everything that we do. It's hard to enjoy the blessings of life when that dark cloud of money hangs over our head with every decision. See, that's the difference in me and some other trainers or maybe leaders, because maybe they've never struggled before. I had some friends, they didn't struggle like I did. So I know what it's like. And I don't know if any of you do, and you don't have to say in the comments, I mean, you may not want to share this because it hurts. I know what it's like to see my wife and kids pull out of the driveway in a beat up, tore up, dangerous car because I couldn't afford to put them in a safe car. I remember what it's like to want to feed my family healthy foods. People are like, man, you got to eat healthy. It's expensive to eat healthy. How many of you agree? Hit the heart button if it's expensive to eat healthy. Whole Foods should not be called Whole Foods. It should be called Whole Paycheck because it would have taken my whole paycheck. I know what it's like to be in church and your heart says give. You don't have it to give. I know what it's like to have family members or friends. You want to help them, but you can't. I know what it's like to be, not all doctors are like this, but I remember when I had real health insurance. And then 21 years ago, when my 21-year-old was born, and we were on Medicaid government assistance, and how some of them treated my kids on that rather than real health insurance. There was a difference with some of them, and it is not a good feeling. You know, I know what it's like to get, let me know if any of you can relate to this, right? To get spiritual with the ATM. You're like, please let there be $20, in my bank account, because you don't think about it letting you have your money in $20 increments until you have less than $20 in your bank account. That's where I was. I was a college dropout, bankrupt, repossessed car, depressed, right? Went to the doctor. They put me on antidepressants, which made me feel even worse, and had no hope. And I live in a small town. Still to this day, 5 traffic lights in our little town. So you tell me, if I can go out and turn my life around, can you turn your life around? But one of the key things, this may be a game changer for some of you right here, a light bulb moment. Let me know if you have any aha moments in the comments below. What we don't hate, we tolerate. What we don't hate, we tolerate. When I got to the point I hated my situation, I hated not being able to provide for my family. I hated not being able to put my family in a safe car. I hated not being able to give more money to my church, not being able to make an impact on other people. I hated people looking at me as if I was just a big failure. I wanted more for my life. That is the day. You can't change your life overnight, but you can change the direction of your life overnight. So here's one of the things that happened. So I was in this company for 13 months. Okay, this is right when I was going through the bankruptcy. And I remember I had a mentor of mine, because see, we need those people in our life that can tell us what we need to hear, not what we want to hear. See, if I say something on this training today that rubs you the wrong way, your emotions get riled up and you go, man, who does Darin Kidd think that who he is? Who does he think he is, right? Well, then it was probably meant for you, because the same thinking that got you to where you are in your life right now is not the same thinking that's going to get you to the next level. To get something different, you have to do something different. And if you can tell that, hey, look, man, Darin's like a little chihuahua jacked up on Red Bull today. Yes, I am, because I am sick of people coming to me saying they want me to help them change their life. And I know they can with every ounce of my being, but they have to be willing to participate in their own rescue, right? So if you notice right now, like I am looking you directly in the camera, you can feel my passion. I'm not about making you feel good. Yeah, I want you to feel good. I want you to be motivated and inspired. But if that's all it is, it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of my time. But if I can give you some tips and some strategies and the way to change your philosophy and your attitude, that can go out there and not just change your life, it can change your family's life. It can change generations to come, right? And so that's what I'm talking about. And so here I was that day of disgust. and 13 months of building a business, and no one was left but my mom, right? And the only reason my mom was left is because I go, Mom, if this doesn't work, we may have to move in with you, the whole family. And she's like, oh, no, it will work. But I had a mentor in my life that had the lifestyle that I wanted, right? Not just the money. I know a lot of people with money, and I don't want their lifestyle. They have no time freedom. They don't see their family. That's not what I wanted. I know people with money and no time, and then I also know people with a lot of time but no money. I wanted to have both. I wanted to have the financial freedom and time freedom. So there was a mentor of mine who's now he has made, I don't know how many tens of millions or hundreds of millions. And here's what he said to me. He goes, Darin, I will see you at the big event coming up, right? And I want you to stay with me for the big announcement, how you can use this to change your business. He goes, I'll see you at the big event coming up. And I'm like, dude, you won't see me at the big event. And he's like, why not? And I said these words, I can't afford it. And he made me repeat it. He said, what did you just say? I go, I can't afford it. By the way, tip, don't say that. If you go, I can't afford it, your mind wants to be right. Your subconscious mind will throw into your conscious mind all the reasons. Here's why you can't afford it. I can't recruit. I can't get a customer. Instead, now I ask, how can I afford it? But I go, I can't afford it. And he said, how long have you been working? And I go, my entire life. And at that point, it was an event in Nashville, Tennessee, like an 8-hour drive. And he's like, if you can't afford to take off 48 to 72 hours, I'm not talking about working on your job, Darin. I'm talking about working on your fortune. He goes, you're only a few days away from financial devastation if anything happens in your life at all to your health, your vehicle, your house. He goes, for things to change, you have to change. Because the definition of insanity is doing what you've always done and yet expecting to get something different. I didn't like it. It rubbed me the wrong way. I remember telling my wife, who does he think he is? Talking to me like that. He's talking to me like a child. Yes, it rubbed me the wrong way, but big egos equals small pockets. Then I said this. I go, well, I don't have a lot of time. I've got kids. And he said to me, look, I thought your kids were your reason. Now you're using them as your excuse. Sometimes we say we have kids. We got the kids like it's a disease. I got the kids. You got the kids, right? And he goes, Darin, do you want daycare raising your kids or do you want to raise your kids? Oh, I did not like that. I go, let me think about it. How many of you have ever said this before? You don't have to admit it, but smash the heart button maybe, right? Let me think about it, which is code for let me go ask my same broke friends and family what they think. Who cares what they think? If you buy their opinion, you buy their lifestyle. Here's one thing that I will guarantee you. None of you will message me after this training and say, Darin, I just have to know your top hair care tips. Like, just tell me, what do you use? What shampoo? What conditioner? You're not going to ask me that. That is silly. Then why do we ask our broke friends and family? Why do we ask the people that live paycheck to paycheck? The business questions. Why do we ask those questions to them? If they knew, they would have it. And by the way, your friends, my friends, they have us in a box. If you get too low, they'll try to raise you up. When you start thinking outside the box, it makes them uncomfortable. A lot of them just subconscious. Then they start saying things to you like they said to me, Darin, don't you remember who you are? Like, don't you remember you're bankrupt, your car's repossessed, you're on Medicaid, you can't feed your kids, you live in a small town. Like, they start trying to pull you down and keep you in that box. And so what he did was, I'm like, you know what? Then he asked me this question. He goes, what if, and I'm going to tell you the other part of the story in just a second. He goes, what if, so let me ask you all of this in the comments. I want you to respond. This is a conversation. What if you had the ability the next 5 to 10 weekends in a row? Now, we know you can't do this now because of COVID and quarantine and all that stuff. But what if you had the ability the next 5 to 10 weekends in a row to fly into a different city, state, province in Canada, country, and one of the top 10 money earners in your company every weekend for 10 weekends in a row trained you? You flew in on a Thursday or a Friday, you had a hotel room, you were trained all day Saturday, you flew back home Sunday. What would that do for your business? Cindy, you're right. Thank God for moms. You're exactly right. That's why I work so hard to take care of her now. Got a great mom, had a great dad too. right, so what would that do for your business? It would explode your business. It would compress time frames. It would get you to where you wanted to be so much quicker. But then he asked me this question: how many of you can afford or want to, even if you can afford it, do you want to be away from your family the next 10 weekends in a row? No, right? Okay, Charlene says, it would blow up my business. You're exactly right. None of us want to spend 10 weekends away from our family, spend $10,000, $20,000 in travel. He said, Darin, the good news is you don't have to do that. All you've got to do is go to this one event, and in 48 to 72 hours, those people are going to be there. Everybody making $10,000 a month will be at this event, Darin, but not everybody there is making $10,000 a month. Darin, if you go to the event, you'll be 1 to 2 years ahead of everyone that doesn't go. And if you don't go, you'll be a year to 2 years behind the ones that don't go. And matter of fact, Darin, you most likely will not even be in the business a year from now when the next event comes around. So here I was, they were looking for my car. I was hiding it every night, right? Hide and seek with my car. By the way, they repossessed it when I got back. I drove all night. My wife packed me like peanut butter, jelly sandwiches. I slept in my car. I sat in the back row, and I had a pity party for myself the majority of the time. I'm like, you know what? They must come from big cities. I live in a small town. They must have a college education. I have a lack of education. They must be great public speakers. I'll pass out in front of 5 people. At that time, if you got me to stand in front of 5 people that I knew, I would shake, I would sweat, I would feel like I was going to pass out. And something clicked a little bit of the way through. All of a sudden, I wasn't in the company was in me. When I left, and by the way, I was by myself. My entire team had quit. Remember, just my mom. She didn't even go with me, right? But she was encouraging. And so I went to the event. I came back. I remember driving back, dreaming about a better life, right? Sick and tired of being sick and tired. I had that day of disgust in my life where I'm like, you know what? I will until. And I had a friend of mine, that same mentor, that said, Darin, success is buried right underneath frustration. And I go, you know what? I have to be close. By the way, if you have people that need to hear this, put them in the comments, right? Click that button and sprinkle the love in your groups or whatever. But I'm telling you, this is the truth. The next 90 days, I went to over $10,000 a month in income. I then went on to make multiple seven figures. One of the previous companies I was in, the third year, I was making almost $1 million a year. Matter of fact, recently they told me I did hit over $1 million my third year in that company. And I built my mom a 6-figure position. Most people are trying to build one position. I built 2 top positions, and most people don't even know that. I recruited over 1,000 people in my career. I'm no longer a distributor in any company. I'm just training. I had thousands of personal customers. I was recognized on stage for being top recruiter, top retention, top customer getter, right? And I once you know the numbers and the combination, what order to put the numbers, you can do it. You can do everything that I did, right? Created a dream lifestyle. That's why I'm so passionate about doing what I do. And so let me tell you why I'm sharing this. Let me tell you why I'm sharing this with each and every one of you, right? The events will change your life. And you don't want to spend your whole life trying to figure out what to do right. When you can find someone that has what you want, model what they do, and shave that time off your learning curve. I don't want you spending 28 years trying to figure out what I did, right? You can do that if you want to. But to me, it's much smarter to go out there and find someone that has what you want, model what they do, learn from them, and shave years off your learning curve and get to where you want to be a lot sooner than later. I do that in every aspect of my life. So that's what happened to me. So why am I sharing this with you? Okay. Why am I sharing this with you? A lot of you know Ray Higdon, right? Him and Jessica Higdon. They built massive businesses. They're trainers. And some of you may go, why are you talking about them? You're a trainer. Yeah, I have an abundance mentality, not a lack mentality. And they have an event coming up, and there's several reasons that I want to tell you about this. One, virtual. Everything is going to virtual. It's the wave of the future. We're never going back to where we were before. Will there be high tech and high touch? Yes, there will be a mixture of that. However, right now, most of the live events, they're canceled, and they're going to be canceled for quite some time. And the future are virtual events with you and your team, you and your company. This is not to take the place of anything that your company is doing, because your company is going to give you specific training about their products, their services, their business model. You're going to hear stories from the company. There's nothing that replaces that, right? So if all you do, if this right here sold you on the fact that you never want to miss another event, because the best investment you ever make is the investment in yourself. Matter of fact, I have some books, and I just saw this. It's a whole little series of books. It has Benjamin Franklin. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. We don't make what we want. We make what we are. So when I left the job at the paint warehouse, my skills and my knowledge could really only get me minimum wage. But through this business, this profession, it completely changed my world. So there's a 3-day event coming up, and I'm talking about, there's Chalene Johnson. I paid, I can't remember what it was, but the weekend, the ticket, her course, it was several $1,000s. I flew out to California. None of my friends went with me. I invited a lot of them. Guess how many participated? None. I had hardly no social media. My YouTube channel was non-existent. This is just one example of one of the speakers that's on the stage at this virtual event, came back, blew up my social media, took my YouTube to one of the top YouTube channels in all of network marketing. Even though I neglected it the last 2 years, we're just now getting ready to crank that back up, right? But I took her knowledge, and I'm like, you know, she's one of the top social media influencers in the world. Like, she's been featured on more fitness videos. She's broken, world records. You can go to darinkid.com/live, right? That's the link that gives you all the details of this event. But it's a 3-day event with some of the top social media experts, some of the top network marketing trainers. It's all generic. They will promote no company. It's a very safe environment, right? So you're going to have some of the best trainers. You've got, Tim Story, I believe is his name, which was Oprah Winfrey's coach. You've got some of the best 3-day event, and there's different packages that you can purchase. The lowest one is $97. That's 30-some dollars a day. And the more I learn about this event, the more excited I am. And let me just share with you, not only would I attend for you to improve your skills, to improve your knowledge, because they're going to give you things like, as you know, technology is the wave of the future. Technology is the now, right? And before, in network marketing, we had to sell people on why you may want to look for a home-based business, why you may want to have an avenue to be able to work from home. What if you got laid off? What if you got downsized, right-sized, cap-sized? You never have to do that again. You never have to do that again. Like, now, there's low-hanging fruit everywhere. So if we get paid based on the value that we bring to the marketplace, if we want to make more, we have to become more. Is it work? Yes, it's work. But the franchises that I owned at one point, they were frozen yogurt. It doesn't get any simpler than frozen yogurt. We spent $400,000 in one, $300,000 in another. But what's fascinating is my network marketing income at that time, before I left and became a trainer, we were making more money in 1 month than both those franchises combined in 1 year with a $700,000 investment. So for me, people go, man, I can't afford something. No, it's just not a priority to change your life, because they're telling me they can't do that, and they have a $1,200 iPhone. Or I see them spending $100 at the bar, or going to the movies and getting popcorn and candy and blowing $150 that night at dinner, and then a movie, right? So it's just, if we want to get something different, we have to do something different. Here's what I'm going to do for all of you. So anyone that orders by tonight at midnight, even I recommend getting the biggest package you can, because just like there's over $500 in bonuses for free if you get that today by midnight tonight. And then I'm gonna throw in an exclusive closed door training for everyone that orders through this link, right? It will be after the Rank Makers Live event, right? But that's gonna be my additional bonus. We're gonna get on there, do some leadership training. We're gonna do some private Q&A, okay? So you're gonna have my undivided attention, and that's gonna be my bonus on top of the $500 in bonuses that you're seeing, on top of everything else that you're being offered. And so why am I so passionate about this? Because I know what it's going to do for your life, right? I know what it's going to do for your business. And not only would I learn the information to implement for you and your team, But here's the way I'm looking at it as well. Take notes on when you register, right? Like, how was that process? Take notes on what happens after that. Take notes on how did they handle the event. There's going to be breakout sessions, right? There's going to be Q&A. There's going to be interaction. There's going to be a Spanish room, right? And there's going to be all these cool things that they're doing that you can learn from, because as you grow your team, you're going to be doing the same thing, which is really cool. So years ago, I had to plan, where was I going to stay? I had to drive all night. I had to figure out my food. I had to make sure, my wife couldn't come with me, but if, we had to worry about babysitters. You had to worry about all of these different things. You don't have to worry about any of that now, right? Not only is it a business expense, so talk to your accountant, right? But you can watch this from the comfort of your own home, and it's going to be an event. The same people that are helping Ray with this event and Jessica with this event are the same ones that helped Tony Robbins, Dean Grazioso, however you say his name, right? With Tony's 23,000 person event. So this is not you sitting behind a computer being bored to death for 3 days. This is going to be a life-changing 3 days. So let me know, by the way, if you're going to go check that out, if you're going to grab a ticket. I cannot wait for those 3 days. Again, when you look at the lineup, it is powerful, and they're adding more and more to it as we get closer to the event. But again, make sure you go to darinkid.com/live by midnight tonight. Place your order, right? That way, after the Rank Makers event, then what we're going to do is we're going to do that private closed door training with just that select group of people. All right, so we got Thailand, we got Colorado. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Who else we got on here? Okay, hey, Lindsay, Cindy. All right, well, listen, any questions on that? Last minute questions? Again, make sure to tag, share, invite, because people will quit on a business, but it's hard to quit on a family. And when they're growing and they're improving their skills, 80% is psychology when it comes to success. But when you improve those skills, just a small percentage of increase can make a massive difference in your income, your business. And the other great thing about things like this event, it doesn't just affect your business. It affects every area of your life. So when you're learning from, let me give you an example. Shalene has some crazy secrets on Instagram. How to use Instagram, how to use the new Reels that they just rolled out, right? That's brand new. The only consistent thing about social media, it's consistently changing. You want to make sure that you're learning what's new, okay? How to optimize your social media, right? Like, you use social media, but you don't let social media use you. And when you're building your brand, see, it's like when I left the network marketing profession and became a trainer, right? I built a following of people that I added value to. And so when you build that following, and when you learn to provide value, and you learn how to attract people, your vibe attracts your tribe, then you can build an international business right from your smartphone, right? Right from social media. Things have changed. You can connect with more people in 1 week than I used to in several months. So my story was not to impress you. It was to express to you, I built what I built when it was a lot harder, right? We didn't have the resources that you have now. And Tony Robbins always says, look, it's not lack of resources, it's lack of resourcefulness, right? So when you look at having the ability to connect with the type of trainers, just Shalene Johnson, okay? Not to mention all the other trainers. I spent several thousand to fly to California, buy the ticket, bought her course, spent days out there, had the food, had the taxis and the Ubers and all of that. And it completely revolutionized my social media, changed everything, right? So you're going to have the ability not only to hear from her, but many other people during that 3 days. And the bottom ticket is, the basic ticket is $97. It's just, it's crazy. It's unheard of. So I hope to see all of you on, Lisa says, what are the dates? It's on the page, but I believe it's, where did I have it? October 8th through the 10th. So make sure you check that, but October 8th through the 10th. All right. Well, sounds good. All right. Well, listen, everybody, I've got to go. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. Make sure to order tonight. Get your team to order tonight to get that $500 in free, bonuses, plus the bonus that I'm going to give you as well, that closed door training. And I appreciate you jumping on. Take care.